before humans set foot on the heights of the Himalayas, before science understood how life survives near the edge of the world, a frozen kingdom already existed where only the best adapted hunters could dominate the high mountains. In the wild Himalayas, among dizzying cliffs, isolated valleys, and snow-covered peaks, top predators must endure extreme cold, oxygen deficiency, and food scarcity, turning every hunt into a test of endurance, patience, and precision. Welcome to the wild Himalayas, the supreme predators of the frozen peaks. Please give us a like and subscribe to the channel to give us more motivation to continue creating quality content. Don't forget to comment your thoughts on the video below and let us know where you are watching from to discuss together. Let's start. On the steep slopes of the Himalayas, the Baral or blue sheep emerges as the supreme balancer of the heights. Known scientifically as Pseudoisnaio, this ungulate inhabits altitudes exceeding 4,000 meters above sea level. Its hooves are designed by evolution with hard edges and soft pads that allow for absolute adherence to solid rock. This technical specialization allows them to move across vertical walls where gravity seems to have no influence at all. The burrowel is a social inhabitant that forms coordinated groups to increase vigilance against the presence of trackers. Its coat of greyish and bluish tones provides thermal camouflage that blends with the mineral relief of the mountain. An adult male can reach a mass of up to 75 kilograms, bearing curved antlers that demonstrate its biological vitality. However, its preference for open meadows makes it vulnerable to optical observation from great distances. They endure temperatures that drop below 0 degrees Celsius, maintaining homeostasis through a layer of dense fur. Its herbivorous diet is based on gathering grasses and lichens that grow between the fissures of the rugged terrain. The stability of their populations is the main motor that sustains the existence of the snow leopard in this ecosystem. The burrowel is the guardian of the peaks, a fundamental piece that guarantees the dynamism of life on the roof of the world. The journey begins on the snow-covered rocky slopes of the Himalayas, where the silhouette of the most iconic predator of these mountains almost disappears into the landscape. It is the snow leopard, Panthera unchaya, a big cat perfectly adapted to one of the most extreme environments on the planet. Its thick grey fur with dark spots breaks the outline of its body, allowing it to blend in with the rocks and snow. Its long tail acts as a counterweight while moving across narrow ledges and steep cliffs. Its powerful hind legs allow it to perform impressive jumps to cross great distances between the rocks. However, it lives alone, and the scarcity of prey in these mountains makes every hunting attempt a massive expenditure of energy. From a high ridge, it watches a group of burrows feeding on a nearby slope. Taking advantage of every rock as cover, it begins to approach slowly without raising the slightest suspicion. Each step is carefully calculated to prevent small stones from rolling down the slope and betraying its presence. When the distance is sufficient, the snow leopard launches itself down the slope with surprising speed. The burrow tries to escape through the cliffs, but the feline maintains its balance even in the most dangerous passages. Every jump brings the predator closer to its target in a terrain where a single mistake could be fatal. The pursuit ends when the leopard takes advantage of the precise moment to bring down the prey on the snowy slope. In these mountains, each catch represents a vital reward after enormous physical effort and constant risk. Among the frozen peaks of the Himalayas, the snow leopard demonstrates that true dominance does not depend solely on strength, but also on balance, camouflage, and extraordinary precision in the most relentless terrain on Earth. The morning sun illuminates the granite crevices where the frigid wind of the Himalayas carves invisible shapes upon the naked and silent rocks. The thin air carries the scent of dry grasses, while the frost shines like diamonds, scattered over the ground, hardened by the cold. An immense shadow glides over the valley, indicating that the golden eagle is patrolling the sky in search of any movement among the stone labyrinth. Danger descends from the heights, forcing the surface inhabitants to live in a state of alert that does not permit the slightest oversight. From a small cavity emerges a Himalayan pika, a creature of barely 200 grams, covered by a dense coat that isolates it from the extreme cold. Its rounded ears capture every vibration of the environment, while its dark eyes nervously watch the clear and hostile horizon. Its goal is to collect the greatest quantity of grasses and wildflowers before the snow completely covers its vital food source. Each journey outside the safety of the rocks is a critical mission to ensure that its underground pantries are full for the months of darkness. If it fails to accumulate enough vegetation reserves, it will not be able to survive the winter, since this small mammal does not enter a state of hibernation. Time is running out, and the pressure of nature forces it to work without rest under the watchful eye of hungry predators. The pika runs with agility among the rockfalls, carefully selecting the plants with the highest nutritional value to dry them in its natural barns under the rocks. This storage behavior is one of the most sophisticated survival strategies among animals inhabiting altitudes exceeding 5,000 meters. This animal possesses a very high metabolism that requires it to consume a daily amount of food equivalent to almost 30% of its body weight. This energetic need forces it to constantly expose itself to external dangers while performing its forage collection tasks for the hay piles. Suddenly, a Tibetan fox appears on the horizon, moving with stealth among the low bushes to try to intercept the way back to the nest. the open space becomes a high-risk zone where camouflage is the only defense against the sharp eyes of terrestrial hunters. Imminent danger. The pika emits a sharp warning whistle and launches toward the nearest crevice just as the predator initiates its final run over the stony ground. The sound resonates on the granite walls, alerting other members of the colony to the presence of the threat. By millimeters, the small inhabitant manages to take refuge in the depth of the granite, leaving the fox with empty claws on the frozen and hostile surface. The success of its escape allows it to preserve its life and continue with the task of ensuring its sustenance to survive the extreme winter. The existence of the pika is fundamental for the biodiversity of the Himalayas because it acts as a natural gardener that distributes seeds and aerates the soil with its tunnels. Its silent work sustains the balance of an ecosystem where every small action contributes to the health of the alpine meadows. However, the sky darkens with the arrival of a storm that promises to transform the terrain into a white labyrinth of unknown dangers. New tracks in the snow indicate that other inhabitants of the summit are waking up with an urgent need that will test the peace of the rocks. The Tibetan Plateau unfolds like a desert of ice at more than 4,000 meters of altitude, where the air is so thin that every breath seems like a titanic effort. Snowy peaks surround this kingdom of absolute silence, where the sky touches the earth in a frigid and eternal embrace. In this environment, the lack of oxygen is the invisible enemy that exhausts the lungs of any unsuspecting intruder in a matter of minutes. The temperature drops below -30 degrees Celsius, transforming the landscape into a test of extreme endurance for even the strongest heart. A robust silhouette with thick fur emerges from the frozen mist, revealing the presence of a Himalayan wolf on the steep slope. With an approximate weight of 35 kilograms, this predator possesses a golden gaze that scans the horizon in search of any trace of life. Its objective today is to lead its pack toward a herd of Tibetan gazelles to ensure the provision of vital nutrients before the storm arrives. The survival of the group depends on its ability to detect prey in a territory where food is a scarce and scattered treasure. If the tracking proves unsuccessful, the energy of the youngest members will begin to decline dangerously under the relentless cold of the plateau. Every day without food increases the risk of the pack's fragmentation, weakening the social bond that keeps them safe from other dangers. The group covers more than 30 kilometers each day, crossing steep slopes and desolate valleys with impeccable coordination. Their deep tracks in the snow are the testimony of a tireless journey through a vast space where patience is the most valuable tool. The Himalayan wolf possesses unique genetic adaptations that allow it to process oxygen with a higher efficiency than other canines from low-lying areas. Its heart and lungs are designed to function at full capacity in altitudes where atmospheric pressure is a constant challenge for mammalian biology. The terrain becomes treacherous with winds reaching 80 kilometers per hour, making visual and auditory communication between the hunters difficult. The scarcity of vegetation forces the group to constantly expand its search area in a physical effort that consumes its last reserves. The pack utilizes a siege strategy to surround a weak individual from the herd while moving with millimetric precision over the snow. The wolves run with amazing endurance, taking turns to exhaust the prey in a high-intensity pursuit that tests every muscle. In a final coordinated movement, the alpha ensures the success of the operation, allowing all members to feed from the nutrient source. The warmth of the shared food returns vitality to the group, while the snow continues to fall over the feast on the lonely summit. This predator is the guardian of the balance on the roof of the world, controlling herbivore populations to avoid the degradation of fragile grasses. Its existence is a reminder of the capacity of life to thrive in the most extreme conditions of the Earth's geography. However, winter is just beginning, and new shadows are projected from the highest peaks, announcing the arrival of ancestral competitors. The pack's destiny will soon face a challenge that cannot be resolved with physical strength alone in the heart of the Himalayas. When the terrain becomes too steep for many hunters, the pursuit continues from the sky over the Himalayan mountains. It is the golden eagle Aquila chrysaetos, one of the most powerful birds of prey of the high mountains. Its extraordinary vision allows it to detect small animals from hundreds of meters high. Its enormous talons exert enough force to quickly immobilize prey of considerable size. It takes advantage of the updrafts of air that travel along the slopes to glide for long periods with minimal effort. However, fog, storms, and strong winds can seriously hinder its hunting days. From a large circle in the sky, the eagle patiently inspects every corner of the mountain. Far below, a mountain rabbit leaves its refuge to feed among the rocks. The raptor immediately fixes its gaze on the small silhouette and begins to prepare the attack. Suddenly, it partially tucks its wings and initiates a dizzying descent toward the slope. The air whistles around its body as it rapidly reduces the distance to the prey. At the last moment, it extends its talons and captures the rabbit before it can reach the rock crevices. With powerful wing beats, it regains height again, carrying its catch firmly. Each success depends on a perfect combination of vision, precision, and mastery of air currents. Above the Himalayan mountains, the golden eagle proves that the sky also belongs to predators capable of turning the wind into their greatest ally. The Himalayan horizon disappears in a mist of ice crystals where the sky seems to merge with the granite peaks at more than 5,000 meters of altitude. Desolate plains stretch like a sea of ochre under the cold gaze of the highest mountains on Earth. In this kingdom of thin air, atmospheric pressure is so low that each breath represents a monumental effort to keep life in motion. The wind roars with a frozen fury that paralyzes any creature that does not possess a will of steel and an exceptionally adapted biology. Among the white blizzards, a colossal and dark silhouette emerges that dominates the landscape with the authority of an ancestral titan of the mountains. It is the wild yak, a mass of up to 1,000 kilograms in weight that walks firmly over the frozen and treacherous ground of the high plateau. Its primary objective is to locate the scarce high mountain meadows, to obtain the necessary forage that keeps its immense body heat functioning. Each step through the deep snow is an investment of vital energy that the herd must manage with instinctive and collective wisdom. Time is pressing because the lack of nutrients would weaken the pregnant females and the young who depend on the herd's warmth to survive. In this desert of ice, inaction is the first step toward a fragility from which it is difficult to recover under the extreme cold of winter. The group advances in an organized formation, crossing desolate valleys where the air is so light that only the most capable lungs can resist. Their small but attentive eyes scan the white surface, searching for the trail of the vegetation that sleeps deeply under the frigid mantle of the mountain. The wild yak possesses an unusually high concentration of hemoglobin in its blood, allowing it to transport oxygen with amazing efficiency at extreme altitudes. This physiological adaptation is the biological secret that allows it to thrive where other mammals would quickly succumb to exhaustion and lack of air. Its body is protected by a dense layer of long fur and a thick reserve of subcutaneous fat that acts as an impenetrable thermal barrier. This natural coat allows the yak to maintain a stable internal temperature even when the exterior thermometer drops below -40 degrees Celsius. A sudden storm envelops the group, reducing visibility to a few meters and hiding the safe trails toward the vital grazing zones. The ice becomes so hard that it hinders access to the grass, forcing the great dominant male to use his physical strength. With a powerful impact of its hooves, the yak fractures the frozen layer, allowing the herd to finally access the nutrients under the soil. The sound of breaking ice resonates in the valley as the group hurries to feed before the weather worsens even more. The success of this journey ensures that yaks continue being the fundamental pillars of the high mountain ecosystem and the companions of the local inhabitants. Their millennial relationship with humans is a testimony of respect and symbiosis that has permitted life on the roofs of the world. The sun reappears, revealing a trail of life that extends toward the horizon where the mountain's mystery always remains latent. But a new silhouette moves on the farthest peaks, suggesting that the journey of the Himalayan inhabitants is far from over. When the golden eagle disappears among the sky's currents, another opportunistic hunter begins its journey through the high mountain meadows. It is the red fox, Vulpes vulpes, an adaptable predator that has conquered a huge variety of habitats, including the Himalayas. Its acute hearing allows it to detect the slightest movement produced under the snow or among the alpine grass. Its diet is very varied and includes small mammals, birds, insects, fruits, and any resource available according to the season. Thanks to this capacity for adaptation, it can survive in some of the most demanding landscapes on the planet. However, its small size forces it to stay alert against wolves, snow leopards, and other great threats. While slowly traversing a snow-covered meadow, the fox suddenly stops its steps. Under the surface, it hears the faint movements of a pika looking for food among the snow tunnels. It tilts its head slightly to precisely locate the point where the prey is. In an explosive movement, it jumps upward before plunging headfirst into the snow. Its front legs pierce the snow while its jaws quickly reach the small prey. The catch concludes in barely a few seconds thanks to the precision of its hearing and its reflexes. Each small prey provides the energy necessary to endure the intense cold of the mountains. Its ability to take advantage of almost any resource makes the red fox one of the most successful survivors of the Himalayas. Among the snowy meadows of the high mountains, the red fox proves that intelligence, extraordinary hearing, and a great capacity for adaptation can be as valuable as the strength of the great predators. On the vertical frontiers, where the air becomes thin, the Himalayan tahr stands as a titan of physical resistance. This ungulate, technically named Hemitragus gemlachicus, inhabits the steepest and most challenging slopes of the Asian mountain range. Its physiognomy is a masterpiece of power, with a compact and muscular body that reaches 100 kilograms in mass. It possesses a dense coat of copper tones that acts as thermal insulation against temperatures of -20 degrees Celsius. Its hooves feature a hardened edge and a flexible center that creates absolute adherence to the slippery mineral relief. When moving across precipices, it demonstrates superior technical skill that challenges the perception of gravity in every movement. The tahr is a social inhabitant that uses collective vigilance to detect the trail of the Himalayan wolf in the gloom. Its greatest vulnerability occurs when it descends toward the lower valleys in search of nutritious grasses to maintain its energy balance. In these open meadows, the tahr's structural advantage diminishes, making it a strategic target for coordinated terrestrial trackers. the pursuit on level ground tests its stamina against the mechanical power and speed of the wolf pack. As a regulator of alpine flora, its presence ensures that the biological balance of the high peaks remains stable and healthy. The Himalayan tar is the guardian of the rocks, a symbol of absolute persistence that reigns over the roof of the world. In the mystical slopes where the fog perpetually embraces the bamboo forests, there lives a being of unequaled beauty and discretion. The red panda, scientifically named Ailurus fulgens, is the sovereign of agility in the middle strata of the Himalayan geography. This solitary inhabitant moves between 2,000 and 4,000 meters of altitude, challenging the thin air of the highlands. Its vibrant cinnamon-colored fur is not just aesthetic, but acts as a perfect thermal camouflage against the reddish lichens of the trees. It possesses a 50-centimeter ring tail that functions as a precision balance beam to maintain equilibrium on the thinnest branches. With a body mass of barely 5 kilograms, it is a model of lightness and mechanical dexterity in the vertical relief of the forest. Its skeletal structure features a false thumb, a superior technical adaptation that allows it to hold bamboo stalks with absolute firmness. The soles of its paws are covered in a dense fur that functions as thermal insulation and improves adherence on frozen surfaces. The red panda is a nutrition specialist, consuming up to 1.5 kilograms of bamboo leaves each day to maintain its vitality. Due to its low energy density diet, it possesses a reduced metabolism and spends a large part of the daily cycle conserving its strength. It is a master of vertical descent, capable of going down trunks head first, thanks to the rotation of its ankles. During the hours of highest solar radiation, it takes refuge in the treetops, using its tail as a blanket to protect itself from the cold. It communicates through chemical signals and scent marks, establishing clear territorial boundaries in its domain of dense vegetation. Faced with the threat of trackers like the snow leopard, it uses its agility to rapidly ascend toward inaccessible places. If cornered, it adopts a defensive posture, standing upright on its hind legs to appear a superior physical volume to the opponent. Its survival faces the critical challenge of habitat fragmentation, which limits its capacity for movement and reproduction. It depends entirely on the integrity of the biological bamboo corridors to ensure the stability of its ancestral lineage. As a keystone species, its presence guarantees the dynamic balance of the mountain forests of the eastern Himalayas and southern China. Each gram of its existence is a testimony to evolutionary perfection in one of the most hostile and beautiful environments on Earth. The red panda is the guardian of the wild emerald, a masterpiece of nature that reigns with a silent elegance. The glacial valleys of the Himalayas stretch under an indigo sky, where the snowy peaks act as silent guardians of an untamed land. The frigid wind caresses the granite slopes while life hurries to take advantage of the last days of abundance before the great white sleep. Time is a relentless executioner that threatens to close the mountain passes under an impenetrable layer of snow several meters thick. For the largest inhabitants of the region, the risk of not accumulating enough fat reserves means never waking up again from winter hibernation. A male Himalayan brown bear emerges from the bushes, an imposing creature that can weigh more than 200 kilograms of pure biological power. Its reddish fur shines under the sunset light, revealing the robustness of a survivor who has dominated these peaks for decades. Its primary goal is to ingest the greatest quantity of calories possible to prepare its body for the extreme drop in ambient temperature. Each mouthful of vegetation or piece of protein is a key piece in the construction of the thermal shield that will allow it to survive the winter. If the bear fails in its search for food, the consequences will be a drastic loss of muscle mass and the collapse of its immune system under the cold. Nature demands a tribute of energy that only the most dedicated and strong manage to pay to see the arrival of spring. Using its prodigious sense of smell, which is thousands of times more sensitive than the human one, it tracks the scent of small mammals hiding underground. With its powerful 10-centimeter claws, it begins to churn the earth to capture pikas and marmots that complement its omnivorous diet. The Himalayan brown bear possesses a massive musculature in its shoulders that gives it the strength necessary to move large rocks with ease. This adaptation allows it to access hidden food sources, while its digestive system processes everything from roots and berries to remains of carrion found in the valley. The thick terrain and the changing climate of 10 degrees Celsius make locating larger prey in the high mountain meadows difficult. Competition with other carnivores and the brevity of the period of abundance force the giant to work without rest under the rain and wind. A metallic scent attracts the bear toward the bottom of a ravine where the remains of an ungulate have been exposed after a small avalanche. In a demonstration of absolute authority, it claims the find and begins to consume the vital protein with an efficiency that ensures its winter preparation. The success of this journey ensures that the sovereign of the mountains can face the winter lethargy with the necessary reserves for its protection. each gram of fat accumulated is a victory of life over the hostile environment of the Himalayas, where strength is the supreme law. However, the sky turns leaden grey, and the first snowflakes announce that the time of abundance has finally ended. A different shadow crosses the summit, reminding us that at these heights, power always has an adversary lurking among the mist. The coniferous forest becomes denser as the altitude decreases, creating a labyrinth of dark trunks and emerald moss that hides the sunlight. The air here is less biting than on the summits, but the humidity traps sounds in an atmosphere of mystery and constant vigilance for its inhabitants. Solitude is the price of freedom in this thicket where resources are limited, and rivals for territory are relentless under the shadow. A false step on the wrong path can attract the attention of larger competitors who do not accept the presence of other hunters in their domain. From the gloom of a fir tree emerges the Eurasian lynx, a 30-kilogram ghost with black hair tufts crowning its pointed ears. Its amber eyes possess an exceptional nocturnal vision, capable of detecting the minimum movement of a prey in the total darkness of the winter forest. Its objective today is to locate a roe deer or a mountain hare to replenish the calories consumed during its long territorial patrols in the snow. The need for food pushes its senses to the limit as it glides among the bushes with an ancestral patience it has perfected over centuries of evolution. If the lynx fails to secure a catch soon, its physical strength will diminish, compromising its ability to defend its extensive home against intruders. In the solitude of the mountain, weakness is a silent sentence that few manage to avoid without the necessary skill for success in the hunt. The predator advances using its large paws that act as natural snowshoes to distribute its weight evenly over the soft forest floor. This physical structure allows it to walk on the snow without sinking, maintaining absolute silence that is fundamental for approaching its prey without being detected. Its ears detect sound frequencies unreachable for other animals, allowing it to locate prey hidden under 0.5 meters of snow with surgical precision. The tufts on the tips of its ears improve the reception of acoustic waves, transforming its head into a high tactical sensitivity biological radar. However, the trail of a wolf pack in the vicinity forces the lynx to stop its advance to avoid an encounter that would be dangerous. Its solitary nature makes it vulnerable against the collective organization of the canines, forcing it to choose its movements with extreme precaution so as not to be discovered. Upon detecting the right moment, the lynx launches in a powerful jump to finalize the encounter with an efficiency that ensures its immediate sustenance. Its retractable claws ensure a firm grip, while its flexible body absorbs the impact of the struggle on the cold and rugged surface of the mountain. The victory guarantees the lynx the continuity of its life in an ecosystem where balance depends on the skill of the fittest hunters. but the snap of a branch indicates that it is not alone, and that a much more robust competitor has followed the trail of the energy. In the temperate forests that flank the slopes of the Himalayas, survival adopts a form of versatile and highly ingenious adaptation. The Asian black bear, technically known as Ursus thibetanus, is the most multi-purpose and resilient inhabitant of the forest thicket. This mammal possesses a dense and dark coat with a light crescent-shaped patch on its chest that resembles a growing moon. An adult specimen can reach a mass of 150 kilograms, combining considerable physical power with surprising agility. Its limbs feature short and curved claws, natural engineering tools designed specifically for vertical climbing. The black bear is an expert climber that uses the height of the trees to obtain nutritional resources inaccessible to other inhabitants. Its sense of smell is extraordinarily sharp, allowing it to locate energy sources at a great distance among the dense vegetation. Unlike pure trackers, its dietary regime is flexible, alternating between wild fruits, tender shoots, and small invertebrates. During the period prior to the drop in temperatures, the search for high-density nutrients becomes a biological priority. It travels kilometers of rugged terrain to collect acorns and pine nuts that provide the lipid reserve necessary for the organism. The seasonal competition for the best fruit trees forces it to monitor its domain with absolute vigilance and rigor. The mechanical strength of its legs allows it to break decaying trunks in search of larvae, exerting a power measured in newtons. Faced with a signal of foreign presence, it uses rhythmic vocalizations and marks on the bark to establish its authority over the resource. As a seed disperser, its activity guarantees the renewal and dynamism of the flora in the temperate valleys of the Himalayas. The Asian black bear is the pillar of forest biodiversity, a wonder of evolution that balances life on the mountain. Beyond the fauna, there rises the throne of crystal that defines the destiny of every being in this majestic and eternal mountain range. The Himalayan glaciers, immense reserves of perpetual snow, cover thousands of square kilometers of mineral surface and solid rock. These ice cathedrals act as the hydrological heart of Asia, storing the vital resource in a solid state for millennia. The biological balance of the valleys strictly depends on the temperature staying below 0 degrees Celsius on the peaks. With the seasonal increase in solar radiation, the thaw releases millions of liters of vital liquid toward the lower basins. This current nourishes the alpine meadows where the burrell and tar seek their daily sustenance among the resilient flora. The most imposing rivers of the continent are born from these frozen structures, transporting energy and essential minerals over great distances. The mechanical pressure of the moving ice carves the relief, creating fundamental biological corridors for the transit of the snow leopard. Every centimeter of elevation and every degree of thermal variation directly influence the dynamism of this high mountain ecosystem. The abundance of snow during the annual cycle ensures that the aquifers stay stable for the health of the temperate forests. The fragility of this crystal system demands absolute respect in the face of climatic transformations that threaten its structural integrity. The Himalayan glaciers are the guardians of life, a masterpiece of nature that sustains the existence of millions. With the temperature rise above 0 degrees Celsius, the Himalayas initiate their most vibrant and majestic metamorphosis. The spring sun fractures the dominance of the ice, allowing the vital liquid to flow again toward the lower valleys. The alpine meadows turn emerald green while grasses emerge from the earth recently liberated from the thick snow. This rebirth marks the start of reproduction cycles for the burrell and the Himalayan tar in the vertical heights. Small individuals of barely a few kilograms of mass are born on the rocky ledges, ready to face the rugged relief. The vulnerability of these new inhabitants attracts the attention of trackers who constantly patrol from the peaks. The snow leopard monitors every subtle movement, evaluating the millimetric distance to ensure its own biological sustenance. Wolf packs take advantage of the higher density of specimens to coordinate strategic encounters in the open meadows of the north. The abundance of resources allows predators to recover the stamina lost during the extreme rigor of the boreal winter. In the air, winged trackers watch the awakening of life, seeking the precise moment to intervene in the alpine food web. The dynamic balance is restored with vigor, ensuring that the flow of organic energy is constant and healthy for the ecosystem. Spring in the Himalayas is the supreme testimony of life's triumph over the inanimate and frigid mineral geography. In the altitudes where oxygen is a scarce resource, a monumental figure emerges that uses thermal currents to patrol the sky. The Himalayan vulture, technically named Gyps himalayensis, is the great organic energy processor of the Asian peaks. With a wingspan reaching 3 meters, its wings are aerodynamic engineering tools that dominate the vertical relief. Its vision is a biological miracle, capable of locating a source of sustenance from a distance of 5 kilometers from the clouds. This giant of the air possesses a body mass of up to 12 kilograms, optimized for buoyancy in the thin mountain air. After the cessation of the vital signs of an ungulate due to the extreme winter, the sky begins to fill with circular shadows. Upon descending toward the valley, the birds establish a technical social hierarchy to access organic remains in a coordinated way. Its digestive system possesses phenomenal acidity, capable of neutralizing biological agents that would be harmful to other inhabitants. A dozen individuals congregate around the energy source, performing an exchange of sounds and movements of authority. Its beak exerts a pressure measured in newtons, allowing it to process the toughest tissues hardened by temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius. The collective banquet is a lesson in efficiency, where every gram of matter is reintegrated into the wildlife cycle. By cleaning the relief of organic waste, these birds prevent the spread of biological ailments throughout the alpine ecosystem. No other winged tracker of the Himalayas possesses the power and endurance to operate in these latitudes of absolute cold. Its labor is the pillar of environmental hygiene, ensuring that the mountain air remains pure for future generations. The Himalayan vulture is the guardian of mineral purity, a wonder of evolution that transforms the end of one cycle into the beginning of another. In the vertical frontiers of the Himalayas, the relief transforms into a stage for biological confrontation, where gravity is the supreme referee. The snow leopard initiates a millimetric descent on a narrow ledge, monitoring every movement of the burrow at 30 meters distance. Both inhabitants depend on their specialized hooves and claws to maintain absolute stability on the slippery rock and ice. With a jump of 15 meters, the feline releases a power measured in thousands of newtons to intercept its target in mid-precipice. From the deep blue, the golden eagle folds its wings and launches at a 150 kilometers per hour toward a distracted pika between the relief fissures. A millimetric error in the aerial trajectory could mean a devastating impact against the mineral and inanimate geography of the mountain. On the lower slopes, the wolf pack coordinates a flanking maneuver to push the ungulates into dead ends. The rugged relief favors no species, demanding physical stamina and technical agility that quickly exhaust the senses. Each physical interaction at these heights carries the risk of a free fall of hundreds of meters toward the bottom of the glacial valley. Survival here is not just overcoming the opponent, but mastering an environment that does not forgive the slightest lack of structural precision. The alpine food web is maintained thanks to this dynamic balance, where effort and resilience are the only valid laws. the Himalayas remain as an eternal testing ground, a wonder of nature where life is forged on the edge of the precipice. When the boreal winter unfolds with fury over the peaks, the Himalayas become a stage for extreme biological resistance. Temperatures descend relentlessly to -40 degrees Celsius, forcing inhabitants to optimize every gram of heat. The snow leopard uses its 12-centimeter thick coat and its massive tail as a natural thermal insulator during rest. Himalayan wolves reinforce their social cohesion, minimizing energy expenditure through coordinated movements over the hardened snow. Ungulates, like the burrell, descend toward slopes with higher solar radiation to locate lichens hidden under the frozen surface. The Tibetan fox uses its high-frequency hearing to detect the vital pulse of rodents under a 1-meter layer of snow. The metabolism of many inhabitants decreases drastically, entering a state of maximum savings to withstand the scarcity of resources. Each footprint on the mineral relief represents a potential biological encounter where technical precision is the difference between success or the end. Moving through the blizzards demands a mechanical power of the limbs measured in newtons that quickly exhausts stamina. The winter imposes a solemn pause, a stage of natural filtration where only the most resilient lineages ensure their continuity. Life on the roof of the world persists under the ice, awaiting with millimetric patience the return of spring abundance. The Himalayas rise like a giant's staircase, where each step offers a distinct world with its own challenges and rules of coexistence. From the frozen peaks to the forested valleys, geography dictates who should reign in every corner of this vastness of granite and snow. At the apex of this kingdom, the snow leopard patrols the cliffs located at more than 4,000 meters, where the air is thin and the rock is its only ally. Its body is adapted to navigate extreme slopes, avoiding contact with other predators that prefer less rugged terrain. Descending toward the plains, the Himalayan wolf dominates the open space, using its social resistance to hunt in groups over the frozen ground. Its ecological niche is separated from the big cat by the preference for prey such as yak or gazelle, inhabiting the vast horizontality of the plateau. In the lower levels where vegetation becomes dense, the common leopard and the Eurasian lynx find their refuge among the tree shadows. Here stealth is the primordial tool to capture smaller prey while avoiding direct competition with the sovereigns of the heights. Science calls this phenomenon niche partitioning, which allows multiple large hunters to share the same territory without constant confrontations. By dividing the space according to altitude and prey specialization, the ecosystem maintains a stable energy productivity for all its members. However, the arrival of extreme winter compresses these borders, forcing predators to descend and increasing the risk of unwanted encounters. The scarcity of resources tests the mountain's delicate balance, transforming every meeting into a tense negotiation for survival. The Himalayas is not just a set of peaks, but a complex biological clockwork system where each life fulfills a vital function for the whole. While the stars illuminate the glaciers, a new presence begins to move at the base of the mountain, suggesting that the story of life still has secrets to reveal. From the peaks crowned by eternal snow to the deep valleys, the Himalayas rise as the most imposing geological monument on Earth. Every inhabitant of this vertical kingdom has been molded by atmospheric pressure and the rigor of a climate that knows no mercy. The sovereignty of the snow leopard strictly depends on the health of its prey and the integrity of the millennial glaciers. This ecosystem is a web of invisible threads, where the disappearance of a single element compromises the stability of the entire region. The rivers born from the thaw are the vital arteries that transport energy and minerals toward the continent's lower latitudes. Preserving the alpine habitat is guaranteeing that alpha trackers continue patrolling the borders between the sky and the solid earth. The protection of this sanctuary is an ethical responsibility to ensure that the Himalayan legacy remains intact for the future. Thermal changes measured in fractions of a degree Celsius represent the greatest challenge to the resilience of this frozen geography. The snow leopard and the Himalayan wolf are the guardians who regulate the pulse of life on the roof of the world. The biodiversity of the high peaks is a masterpiece of evolution that deserves to be admired and defended with absolute rigor. The Himalayas must endure as the great kingdom of snow, where life flourishes despite nature's most hostile conditions. To honor the majesty of these mountains is to commit to the permanence of the sacred balance at the top of our planet. Subscribe to the channel in addition to sharing this video to carry this message of respect far. Every gesture helps to protect the wonderful creation of nature.